Welcome to the Northwest Provincial Government Podcast. We inspire and encourage our communities through personally inspiring stories of our leaders in government and game changers in our communities. Enjoy this episode.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Northwest Provincial Government Podcast. My name is Lemogang Pule, and today we are in conversation with the MEC for Cooperative Governance, Human Settlements and Traditional Affairs, MEC Gaoage Molapisi. MEC, thank you so much for your time. Welcome.
Thank you very much, host Lemogang. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be with you.
Thank you so much, MEC. So let's just start off on doing a quick reflection on your background. Where did you grow up? What are some of those experiences about your upbringing that you can share with us?
Ke mfana kasi. Ke tswa Potchefstroom ko Ikageng. I was born and bred ko Ikageng, where I started my school and my political activism. So that's where I was born briefly, in Ikageng, Potchefstroom.
And what was it like, MEC, growing up, just those earlier childhood memories in Ikageng Township?
Look, I must say that we have a different experience. Ikageng by then, we grew up in dusty streets, playing with the kids like any other young people. It was nice, it was exciting. There was a bond between the kids, but more strutting. We were like a family. We had a scheduled program. We know when we wake up, we're either going to play soccer, we're going to play body beko, if I'm calling it correct. We're doing so many things young people of today are not experienced. So it was honestly, it was nice. We used to go bicycopong, rahoshevela bicycopo, margaberle sto to vele. Bashimane would go out in the morning, so we're doing all these things like any other child up until we begin to be politically conscientized, and I think then life started to change then.
Mm. And on that political note, MEC, briefly take us through how that journey started for you.
Look, the difficulty was I think we were conscientized at a very tender age, whilst necessarily the middle school before you go to high school, as we were doing both standard 4, standard 5, and we started experiencing some problem. I think it started, around about 1983. The challenge was there were basic things that we need at school, and we felt that we do not have the voice, the student at school, and we wanted at least a representative in our school, a voice. For instance, by then, no appoint the prefect, and prefect banare khatella. Dilo tse di basic, for instance, like I stayed go defensing, I stayed go matlwang. Now you will share a book with somebody who's staying very far from where you are staying, and in the evening you'll have to go travel away, go motungo le go bala, share the book, learn although no sna botsotsi bo bokalo, but you would understand. It take time for you to travel that distance in trying to share the book and all that. We then decided that when many of young people were politicized, we then decided that we can't be left out, more especially the influence the 1976, although by then there said because no Black Power. But after 1980s, I think COSAS was formed 1983. I think if I'm not wrong, it was UDF that was formed, or COSATU, I can't remember well. But you then started also having the mushrooming of youth movement, and many young people were belonging to the structures. Then we demanded a representative Kodikolo like your SRC to say we need to have an SRC Moskolon because we understand the SRC to be a student representative council, Yabanaba School and all that. Then we became the affiliates, and so many young people demanded SRC. There was COSAS that was formed, and then many of us associated the COSAS and all that. Some of us nerea felaka mutu, but we could see the need to belong because we realize the necessity. But the other thing that I must say is that we also experienced the sufferings of our parents, and we could link our struggles the needs let the struggles of the parents in terms of the unions and belong. So that's where I started my political activism at a very teenage level. I think I became active around highly active around late 1985. I was then arrested.
MEC, would you say that level of commitment at such a young age, to form part of these political structures and movements that were meaningful to many communities out there, do you think that in today's day and age that is still relevant? Do you see a lot of young people also going into these movements in the same spirit as when you were still young yourself?
Look, the situation is different now. There are many opportunities today, although challenges are still there. During our time, Ron, unfortunately, many of us, we could not complete our the school. But also there were very limited opportunities, unlike today. Today, there are quite a number of opportunities which we think our young people can grab those opportunities and run with them. So it all depends. But government today presents many opportunities. You have very abundant choices in terms of the career, in terms of your own development, where you would want to go and all that. So the demand and the situation, comparatively speaking, is not the same as compared to by then. By then we were, like I'm saying, we were very limited. We did not have much of choice. So today it's about more of human rights issues, more of issues that speak directly to young people in terms of their needs and all that. But also the other important thing is that there is no brutality that we are experiencing today as compared to the olden days. Because in the olden days, some of the decisions that you take, they would have meant something. Today, you are free to express your opinion. You are free to belong to any political party. You are free to associate with whoever you want without any fear, any intimidation, or any risk of being killed or being imprisoned.
Now, MEC, there's been some chatter about your qualifications. Now, I want us to just, I would like you to take us into your confidence and maybe just talk to us about that.
No, I must indicate that I said to you that I was involved in the struggle at a very tender age. What I did not tell you is that, I was in prison and I could not write my matric. Every time when I'm supposed to write, and this happened to many of us, every time when I'm supposed to write my matric, around December time, the wardens would come and take the books. So if you don't write your matric today, you don't have another day. You would wait for the next year. So I could not do that. I could not write my matric whilst I was in prison, but I was studying. Every year I was committed, but I know I'm not going to write the matric. The reason was to break my spirit, but I did not budge. Fortunately, when I was released, I enrolled and I happened to write my matric under very difficult conditions and finished writing my matric. I enrolled with UNISA for the National Diploma in Public Administration. I completed my studies. I enrolled with Wits University to do my postgraduate in Diploma Public Management and Development. Unfortunately, I did not finish because of other commitments and all that, but I've not given up. I'm still pursuing that. I will be finishing my bachelor's degree in terms of public administration, I think next year. I'm finishing that, but also I'm a registered law student with UNISA. So I'm pursuing that, but I'm not in a hurry, unlike before. Age-wise, doesn't allow, I'm not that fast, but it's something that I'm hoping to complete very soon. So, khanyane, I'm getting there. Yes.
Now, your position as MEC and just, a lot of different things that you do in the community in general requires quite a lot of your time. How do you balance all these things, including being a family man as well?
Yeah, it's not easy. It comes with a lot of sacrifices. I'm a leader. I'm a member of the Provincial Executive Committee of the ANC. I'm also head of ANC elections. The ANC has given me this responsibility from 2013, before I joined government, and then they relieved me in 2016. Then I was recalled. Lutulaus came back and say, you must take up this responsibility. So I've been ANC head of elections, coordinating elections in the province. So it's a mammoth task. It's not easy, like I'm saying. The reason you see us collapsing sometimes is because of sometimes we don't sleep, I must say. But I'm an early bird. Wake up around 3:30, 4 o'clock. Allow myself at least an hour to go through my studies. From there, go to the gym because you need that. And then from there, I can start my day. But also going to bed very early. You will not get me after 8. After 8, I switch off. So I go to bed very early, but wake up very early. So that I can be able to wake up in the morning and attend to some of these things. Sometimes I wake up around 2 o'clock just to do my studies and all that. Over the weekend, of course, I dedicate that to my family. If there are no meetings of political party, I spend the time with the family and my wife.
All right. Now, MEC, you've recently been given an opportunity to lead once again in the 7th administration now as MEC for Cooperative Governance, Human Settlements and Traditional Affairs. What does that kind of responsibility mean for you?
I must say that I'm humble. I'm humbled by the confidence that has been bestowed on me by, firstly, the governing or the ruling party and the premier. It's a sign of confidence. it should be continuity. But you see, there are a lot of challenges in the current department that I'm leading, things that we need to address. And if I can just mention just a few, this department is responsible to play an oversight on another spheres of government, which is your local government. And one has to have a very sound understanding of the relevant prescript because it's an independent sphere of government. So our role it's very limited. And we know that municipalities are at the cool phase of service delivery. So that is a very mammoth task. You are working with a collective. And what you get in terms of our electoral system is different from the team that you work with in a department of people who have been appointed, because they would have been appointed based on their qualifications, their competencies, their experience. Here, the difference is that you have people who have been elected and you get what I can call mixed masala. The Minister Nkosazana used to call it, what is this, omelette, because you have everything, everybody inside. So you get all the characters, different characters of the people and all that. And it doesn't mean it's not given that what you get there is good. So you must harness that. But also looking into the challenges of local government. Like I said, it is at the spheres of, at the cool phase of service delivery. There is just too much expectation. And the expectation is not unreasonable from our communities, because our community members can't differentiate between provincial, national, and local government. If they want water, they want it from the municipality. If they want school, they want it from the municipality and all that. And also, given the limited budget, the councillor has to deliver. What I think needs to happen, we have very good and very sound policy that just need implementation. I mean, for instance, if you take the Back to Basic document, it should be our Bible, because your Back to Basic document address the 6 pillars of local government. It talks about putting the people first. You must have some infrastructure in place in terms of your ward committees, where you would have a ward councillor, would have a ward committee, people that you would be working with in that particular ward. You shouldn't be struggling to convene community meetings. Sometimes you may not necessarily have good or positive things to say, but just to convene community meetings and say, this is what government is doing, this is what we are doing, I think it would be a good thing. For instance, if we can say, and I'm advocating that, if we can say in terms of the DDM model or DDM context, that let each department say, in this municipality, these are the projects that we are going to bring, that we are going to implement. Agree plan on an annual basis, but in a 3-year cycle. But for this financial year, if we say, these are the projects that we are going to implement in this municipality as a national government, whether it's water, whether it's housing. These are the projects that we are going to implement as a provincial government, whether it's roads, whether it's clinic, whether it's schools. These are the projects that are going to be implemented by a municipality. Then you have a list of all the projects that are going to be implemented in that particular financial year. Then you say this is the project value of all this project. These are the opportunities that this project are going to create, whether social, economical. We're going to create so many jobs. We're going to empower so many people in terms of our policies and all that. You have information, then the councillor doesn't have to struggle. He or she talks about this information that is at the tip of his or her fingers to say, in my ward, I know this is for this financial year, this is what we are going to do. We are going to employ so many young people. We are going to empower so many people, SMMEs and all that. And we are going to bring so many projects. You give people information. From there, you just update them. So we shouldn't really be struggling to convene meetings and all that, running away from our people, because our people want information. If in a ward you have where you are operating some kind of an office, when people wake up, when they have problem, they go there and they say, we have a Councillor Lemogang, she's dead, Officer Gekile. There is somebody that we are going to find there. These are the problem that I'm experiencing. You deposit the problem there. By the time you convene a meeting, you should be able to say, for this month, these are the issues that were processed. We have attended to these issues. There's a feedback. We shouldn't really be having a problem of lack of information to our people and all that. So I'm saying if we follow your back to basic document, then from there we come in as a provincial government in a form of your cooperative governance and traditional affair. We play our oversight in terms of performance monitoring and performance assessment tool to say, Councillor Speaker, you said you are going to convene meetings in terms of your financial management. This is what you said you are going to do. In terms of service delivery, these are the projects that you said you are going to implement and all that. We monitor that, and there should be no qualms. We should all be happy because we are sharing information. So I'm saying the Bible is there, like the priest does every weekend, go to church, open the Bible, he just take you through this scripture or that scripture and all that. He's speaking to the converted, saying the same thing. And people don't get tired. You know, you go to church. So I think these are simple things that we can do, but we are just complicating the running of government. And to me, it's simple, more especially at the local level. We are hailed as the best country with good policies, but our problem is on implementation. And who's responsible for implementation? It's officials. Officials that we have entrusted with the responsibility of implementing these good policies. We give these officials a budget every year. They define and set the targets. But come quarterly performance, annual performance, they will tell you that, no, we did not achieve this, we did not achieve this. Why? They then justify. There is no consequence management. So we need to be firm, we need to be tough, there must be consequence management. If you are compromising us, if you are not delivering, if you are not bringing your part, because the understanding and the assumption is that we have taken you based on the merits. You qualify, you have the necessary competency, you have the skills and all that, you are equal to the task. So if you don't perform, why do we keep you there? Because government makes provision that if there are gaps, there must be intervention. Where there is performance, good performance, we must reward it. So why are we not following all this? So I think somewhere, somehow down the line, we are lowering the bar. And I think that's where the problem is. Now, quoting Thabo Mbeki, the former president, he says, the quality of the leadership is declining. And maybe that's where the problem is. The quality of the public service that we have now of lately, it's declining. And there is no excitement to serve our people. We get into this position because it's all about us. We want something. We are not coming in to serve our people and help to address challenges of poverty, unemployment, and inequality. So if the leadership can begin to shake things and say, we need to take this direction, we need to implement, there are targets, they must be achieved, no compromise, I think we'll get somewhere.
Interesting indeed. Now, MEC, talking about leadership, how do you define yourself as a leader, and what kind of style goes with that?
Sure. What do I say? I'm a very, very patient person. Firstly, I unleash potential where I see it, enhance it. I like working with the collective people who bring their side. So that's what I appreciate on the people, people who are committed to the work. So I'm very patient somebody, but also harness the potential that one say, I don't know how would I define that leadership in terms of leadership style and all that, but that's who I am. Basically.
And earlier on, you cited Thabo Mbeki in order to advance your point. What role models in South Africa do you have? Who do you look up to, and someone who inspires you to be the individual that you are?
Look, there are people who have played a very great influence and role in my life when I was still young, as I was growing up. That I've mingled with. I was very fortunate at a very tender age to interact with these people. I happen to have been in prison at a very tender age from 1986, I think, till 1988 or 89. In prison, I met with, before I went to prison, of course, and even after, I've interacted with people like Peter Mokaba, who was our president by then, after we have launched SAICO, which was a youth congress, the South African Youth Congress. Very militant somebody. It's somebody who has inspired ideally, because I used to be very, very militant. In prison, I came across people like the current deputy president of the ANC, Paul Mashatile. I was in one cell with him. He used to teach us politics. That's what we call Mkhabolo. Every evening we'll go through political classes and all that. So I've interacted with people like him. I've also interacted with people like Domandleleni, Leleni, who was our leader in Ikageng. As we were growing up, he became the MEC. He was a provincial secretary of the ANC. After the unbanning, he was a political education officer of the ANC. Of course. And then from there, you have people like O.R. Tambo, the president of the ANC, who led the ANC in exile for 3 decades. From there, he was attacked by a stroke. But he kept the ANC united, and the ANC was very united, not what we are seeing today. So these are the leaders that one look up and say, these are the people who have inspired us. When we look upon them, we are rejuvenated. Hope is still there.
And MEC, I suppose we draw inspiration from a lot of avenues, but I want to get into your bookshelf. What are some of those books that you have read that you always go back to, that you would want to share with us?
I've read quite a number of books. I'm still reading, although one does not have an opportunity, because you also have a burden of improving yourself in terms of development. But there are books that I can say they've really influenced me to have a different perspective. And one such book would be The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. you come to learn that it's not about material things, Quite interesting book. You read it, you go back and read it. The other one, I forgot the author of the book and the name, if I'm not wrong, but it's How to Make Friends. I just forgot the author. It would change your mindset in terms of the approach to things. Like I said, I used to be very militant. But after reading that book, I then realized that, we can still achieve some of the things, but pursuing them differently, talking to people differently, showing them the bigger picture. And even your kids, showing them the other perspective. So these are the books that I can say they have really, really inspired. Otherwise, besides that, I think I've read a number of books also, but these are the books that I can say they had a very great influence on myself.
Now, MEC, you've touched on the number of challenges that you encounter in your space as a politician, but I really just want to know, how do you overcome, or deal with the kind of criticism that you would get, for instance, as a politician?
Look, that will never end. For as long as you hold a public office, you'll always receive criticism. There will be those who are happy about your performance, and there will be those who appreciate you. But there will be those who feel that, this one is useless. That's the burden of leadership. The burden of leadership is to lead. So when you lead those who love you and those who don't love you, those who criticize you and those who praise you. So it's all systems goes. You take everything, but you should not be that much worried about people who criticize you, because you are doing something. Because you will have these individuals who would want to measure your performance without any measurement tool. They will just criticize you for the sake of criticizing you. So you shouldn't really worry about that. But there are those who will criticize you honestly. You must accept that. Self-criticism also, and constructive criticism. If people come to you and show you that here we think that you should have taken this approach or this road, you must accept and learn, because as a human, so sometimes you listen to other voices and don't just want to listen to the voices because there are also those who would want to make you hear what your ears want to hear. So also be open to those babakareng. No, but here we think you have missed it. But if you have that understanding that it's in the nature of politics, you can't make everybody happy, then you are fine. What is just unfortunate, what one is experiencing, is just distraction, ill discipline, disrespect, and all that. Now we are not brought up in that way, not that Obamela leadership, but when people are elected into position of power authority, we are not made to fear them, but we respect them. We accord them, and not necessarily them, but the position that they hold, we accord respect, because it would be you today in that position, tomorrow it would be me. So I will want to be treated the same way. So unfortunately, in today's life, you just have many people who have lost it, who insult the leadership and all that. And I think that's a very unfortunate situation, because then I don't know what society are we building. But criticism, you must embrace it. It will build you.
All right. Now, MEC, you've recently delivered your department's budget and, plans for this financial year. And of course, it wasn't your first budget speech. How was that experience like? And maybe take us through some of the areas of priority in this financial year.
When we were delivering our budget speech, if I can just remind myself, there are 6 areas which we said are catalytic projects that we need to focus on. One is projects that we want to implement. It's in the mining towns. We want to build houses for our people. We have our military vets. These are the people who have not been catered for quite some time, would need to make an intervention on that. In the province, you still have some mud houses, would need to move into that space, and we said that we'll need to eradicate the mud houses. There are also projects that are blocked. We said we would need to follow up on this because it would be a waste if government would have unfinished or blocked projects and we don't make any means to attend to that. So we have made a vow to attend to these block projects. We also said we want to empower our designated group or previously disadvantaged group in a form of your women, young people, people living with disability in the construction and built environment industry. So one is looking into that to say, the president has pronounced the issue of ensuring that at least you spend 40% of your budget on women, young people, people with disability, because this is your vulnerable group in a society. So what we have committed is to ensure that at least we take care of these areas. So basically that's what we have said, and that would be in as far as the human settlement section is concerned with the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. We said that we would want municipalities to fill in their senior vacant post, because for quite some time you have had many municipalities that are without senior managers. We also said we would need to embark on an audit skills for whoever is working in the municipality, so that we can check if people who are working, who are the force that's supposed to do the implementation, they are fit for purpose. These are some of the things that we are pursuing, and I can confirm that we are almost there. We are achieving some of this in as far as the report that I've received. We have completed skills audit. We'll be sharing that with our municipalities. There are only 2 municipalities that have not filled in their senior management position. The last issue that we said we need to do, or before that, is also to pay attention to municipalities that own ESCOM, because that's where we have a problem. Because ESCOM, if you owe it, they switch off and all that. So we have made arrangements, including Magales, we have made arrangements so that municipalities can participate in the programs at ESCOM, so that they can make arrangements for payment and Magales. And the last issue, which is also, of course, my responsibility, is to give support to the traditional leadership, to say, how do we give our traditional leadership the necessary attention and support, so that the leadership can then be in a position to execute their task. These are some of the things that we have highlighted in our budget speech that we are following.
And MEC, with regards to the, Ditsobotla municipality and many others, which have been characterized by a lot of challenges, including financial mismanagement. In your view, what has been the core challenges within those municipalities, and maybe just detail some of the plans that are already in place to deal with that?
Look, we know the history of Ditsobotla. It was mismanaged. There is a public protector report here, Ditsobotla, about people who were employed who do not qualify, being given senior position, hiring people en masse, giving them huge responsibility, which they got no knowledge, experience, or expertise on that. And that's what led to the collapse of the municipality. And that is why there was an intervention in terms of Section 139C by the Executive Council. Unfortunately, the product of that intervention has bring in a mengelmus, the omelette thing, where you don't have order. Today is this mayor, tomorrow is this speaker, yesterday is this speaker, tomorrow is this mayor, and all that. So there is no stability at the political level. As a result, the municipality is not focused, because the municipality can collect revenue, because that's not where their focus is. Number two, they don't have senior managers who are proper and fit, who can put systems in place so that they can collect and deliver services to our people. So that's what we are battling with in Ditsobotla. As we speak, we took a decision that we must assist the municipality in terms of what the Constitution empowers us in terms of Section 154, the support to the municipality. That's what we agreed upon. We have sent teams to the municipality. But because of the political instability in the municipality, you are unable to arrest the situation. We then said, look, because the municipality does not have any revenue, as a result, the municipality can't even meet its obligation in terms of paying its debtors. For now, let's relieve the municipality. One, let's give the municipality support by sending people who are experienced in a form of your senior managers, your middle managers, your accounting officer. We then advise the municipality not to proceed and delay the appointment of the municipal manager, because we were going to send an accounting officer together with the managers, because as provincial government, we're going to pay these people so that the municipality is then able to collect. These people are able to put systems in place. By the time they unplug, then the municipality can then proceed, because you would have systems in place. Unfortunately, the municipality proceeded. They went ahead with the appointment of the municipal manager. Now we have a role to play when municipality are to appoint your Section 56 or Section 57 managers. We are looking into that, if maybe there was a compliance to that. They appointed a municipal manager. They will have to pay the municipal manager. I'm told a week ago they've advertised the post of the managers, which is against our wish, because they don't have funds to pay these people. Remember what I said, you still have some people there who sometimes are not paid. They revolt, they go to the municipality, they close offices because they've not been paid, and rightfully so, because they have worked, but there's no money because there's no revenue and all that. So we're trying to intervene, but the municipality decided to proceed. But together with the provincial treasury, we have developed a program aimed at managing what we are doing in municipalities. I've had a discussion with the minister on the intervention in the municipality. But you can't resolve the problem until your elected political leadership is stable. So that's where the problem is. For as long as there is still the kgokagano on the political parties, because you see, if individuals who have been elected by different political parties don't sit down and say, we are here in the interest of our people, not in the interest of our political party, and let's put aside our differences and look into the interest of the community, you are not going to win the situation there. You will never win. For as long as this one wants to be a mayor today, tomorrow is this one, you are not going to resolve the situation. So the plea we are making, and I think when we go there with the minister, that's what we want to emphasize on, is to ensure that whilst there is this intervention from us as COGHSTA and provincial treasury, but all political parties that are represented in council, they must begin to understand their mandate. Why are they there? They are there for the people. People elected them to serve them. Now, you can't have a municipality that is unstable from inception up to the end. We'll have to do something very drastic. I don't know what is that, but we are discussing that. But all is not lost. We are still engaging with the municipality. Hopefully, with all the efforts that we are putting in place, sanity will prevail. Hopefully, people begin to realize that, but we are here to serve the people.
And MEC, on the other side, you have the issue of corruption, which is a widespread challenge in society. And I suppose it also adds on to the instability, especially in government institutions. As a leader, what do you think it will take to fight that corruption?
Look, to me, it's twofold. You see, when people are exposed on acts of corruption, they are being arrested, we want to blame government. There were municipal managers, for instance, I think in Ramotserimulwa, and there was another one in Madibeng who was arrested. There was another one in Matlosanat, both the CFO and the MM who were arrested. People tend to take that negatively and say people are corrupt. But we must appreciate the fact that the law enforcement is doing its job. Wherever corruption rears its ugly head, they are able to deal with that. And we must appreciate that. Because if people are involved in corrupt activities, then that goes unnoticed quietly. The problem is that corruption robs people of the services that they are supposed to be getting and all that, you know. So that is why I'm saying when these arrests are effected, we must celebrate. We must not look it in a negative way because the reality is that as and when there is corruption, it means there is service delivery somewhere where it's compromised. Mm-hmm. It means services were supposed to have been taken to this or that community, or we are supposed to have been provided water to that community or build houses or roads, but because of money has been diverted somewhere scrupulously, it means the money did not go to or address the intended purposes. So my take, it's like I'm saying that it's twofold. As and when it happened, when people are arrested, we must celebrate. We must applaud our law enforcement agency. But equally, we must speak to the conscience of our people, in particular those who are entrusted with the responsibility of taking services to our people, because it's a betrayal of a cause. those who are working are very privileged. You have many people, young people who are not working, graduates who are sitting home, who would have loved to be in this position that we are holding. So we are given this opportunity. It's a mental trust. Now you come, you betray that trust. There must be some form of a harsh punishment. And that's what I think we must address. But because people seem not to be understanding, you get arrested today, tomorrow a person still commits a crime or corruption. It means it doesn't sink. We would need to do something very drastically. But like I said, we have policies, your anti-corruption thing, but it doesn't sink in the minds of our people. People continue. I am not sure what else can we do to educate our people that this issue of corruption is in the moral fiber of our society, because that's the society we are brewing, of corrupt people, corrupt government. And if you look into other countries where corruption has been practiced, it has become a norm. It is acceptable. If you look into Mexico and other countries, it's now a norm that there are dealings happening, and not only by officials, but even by very high politicians. And you can see that the results of corruption it results in poverty to our ordinary people. But would also be betraying the cause of those who were involved in the revolution, because you would have many people who would have sacrificed their lives and sacrificed everything that they stand to benefit by then, to take up arms, fight for liberation, fighting for our people, so that our people can be free, so that our people can live in a country that is free, where they enjoy the benefits and all that. So it's a betrayal to the cause. So we'll need to deal with corruption wherever it's at.
Interesting. Now, MEC, your department is significantly huge with complex disciplines that make it, what it is. But with regards to the discipline of human settlements, what have you been able to pick up on since you came into office, and these areas of concern to you, and what are the current plans in dealing with that?
Yeah, like I said, that with regard to human settlement, I think I did make mention of some of the projects that we are attending to. I spoke about block projects that we need to attend to. I spoke about eradication of the mud houses. I spoke to projects that have been abandoned. Unfortunately, some of these things are not necessarily our own making. As a result of the decline in economy, what we are facing as a country, you would know that the entire government sector was forced to cut budgets across all government departments and all that. And human settlement was not an exception. So that has resulted in many contractors moving out of sight who could not complete the projects. So currently what we are doing, we are engaging the provincial treasury to look into the intervention that can be made. Because if the provincial treasury does not come on board, it means we'll remain with some of the projects being blocked. And remember what it means. It means if your mother was, if we have made a commitment to your mother or to your uncle that we are going to build him a house, and there is a slab there, and there is no movement, he will feel betrayed that we made a commitment that we could not fulfill. So we would need to move with speed in ensuring that we attend to the problem of your block projects. And I'm hoping that with the engagement that I'm having with the minister, something will come up so that we address the backlog of the block projects, but also what we have already committed to do in this financial year before we can make new commitments. Many of our people need houses. I think we also need to relook into that, the people that we are providing houses and all that. So that's basically what we are doing. I was at the sharing with the National Council of Provinces delegation. There are a number of projects that are blocked, and we'll be visiting some of these projects. Some of them is not necessarily because of the budget cuts. Some of them, they relate to issues of investigation, but also not properly awarding project. There is one big project, for instance, in Matlosana, where we have deposited the money into the municipality, and the municipality did not pay the contractor. And these are some of the things that we are grappling with. But I'm hoping that we'll overcome all these challenges.
And how would you describe the relationship between the provincial government and the traditional leadership? Is there any kind of leeway or headway that is being made in terms of meeting a common ground?
I can confirm that Remalo, the former MEC, the acting premier, did a very sterling job. When the president came into to our province, the then acting premier, Malloy, wanted the president to meet with the traditional leaders. The president was very much worried to say, meeting with Mahosi, they are going to take all our time. The acting premier said, no, not in the Northwest. The president, when he responded, apparently he had a meeting with them. He said the meeting took 15 minutes. He was shocked. He was shocked, and he was asking the premier, how did you get it right? So what I'm trying to illustrate is that we have a very cordial relationship with the traditional leadership of the province. Because what the then acting premier did was to invest time with the traditional leadership, sitting down with them, understanding what are the challenges, invited some of the MEC, we went there. They raised issues that are affecting them and their community. We responded to those issues. And to me, that has closed and narrowed the gap. The traditional leaders have been complaining about the D account. I don't know what was the D account up until I joined government. But I know there was the outcry at D account. For the first time in the 6th administration, that matter was addressed. Although not to the satisfactory of the traditional leadership. But Treasury, together with the acting premier, they managed to address the issue of the D account. Now there is an open discussion. There is a discussion about the issue of the D account and all that. So that open door policy helped to narrow the gap, because it's only when you close people outside, if you don't want to interact with them, then you begin to experience the problem. I have also interacted in my meet and greet meeting when I was appointed. I've interacted with our traditional leadership. They have also interacted with the premier. Me and myself, we are still having an outstanding meeting with the traditional leadership, just to iron out what is outstanding. Because what we said, one of the things that we said is that as government, we'll have to take a different approach that says, look, we may be elected public representative assisted by the officials. But harebana ba ko bokhosing, we don't know what is happening ko bokhosing and all that. And we can't determine who should be a khosi or who should not be a khosi. We must leave issues tsa bokhosi to the royal family, to the royal house. So government must not come in and want to determine no khosi ke, because we become biased in a process. So we have taken a view that says we'll leave issues, the disputes about khosi, to the traditional house or to the royal family by advice. Or now we'll just come in as government to coronate the chief, to say we recognize this chief after being advised by the traditional leadership. And I think that helps because we are not interfering.
Now in the province we have something called the Accelerated Service Delivery Program, and with the 7th administration also coming in with its reload installment. What do you think people can do, the communities can do to be involved, to embrace this government program and form part of it so that it becomes a success that you as leaders have envisioned it to be?
Look, I've been in government for quite some time now. I was a MEC for a very brief instinct during the 4th or the 5th administration of Mahumapelo. He introduced something called Setsokotsane. But maybe because I was not long in that administration, I can't really talk about what Setsokotsane was doing. But I can tell you, this program, it's among the best initiatives. It's among the best initiatives taken by the former acting premier. Because that there is a view or a narrative that in particular public servants or public representative, we only go to our community during the elections when we want their votes. They don't see us. They just see us on the road and all that. There is a view that there are many wrong things that have been done by officials of government who are supposed to be on a daily basis providing services to our people. This program helps us to close that gap. We go to the community physically. We attend to street lights, we patch potholes, we attend to issue for sewer spillage. We do the actual physical work. It boosts the morale of your employees on the ground because we join hands with them to do some of the work that they are doing. So it motivates them. After that, besides the physical work that we are doing, we bring in government services to the people in a village, and we are targeting rural areas. Now, if you stay in a rural area like Komorokweng ko Khakalakwa, and then Honale SASA, Honale Home Affairs, Honale all services are government, and all community members are mobilized to go there. It's access to service delivery. How to ona either apply its ID or apply its ngwana, whatever grants it's on so they apply and all that, because we have reserved that day to go and access service to government. And you didn't spend money to travel to go there and all that. So we access the basic services that it is in government to the community members. From there, we go to the community. We tell them about all the work that has been done by different government departments. It's exciting. It's exciting. But you are also holding your public representative accountable to the people. They account on the work that they have done. And it doesn't start that day. We do it Fridays, but it starts
long before Friday. You can start Monday, Tuesday, there is some work, build-up activities that have been made and all that. Then you account on what you have achieved. In some of these activities, some of our people, we hand over houses officially to them, houses that are well furnished. We give them keys, we give them grocery, we give people who are in different sporting code the equipment, material, whatever that is due to them and all that. So it's exciting. By the time we leave the area, people feel excited. Each individual can tell you his or her experience that on this day, this is what I have accessed. I have been looking for an ID for 3 months. I could not go to town because I did not have money. I wanted to apply for SASA for Wananwanaki. I could not do that because I did not have money. But today I managed to do that and all that. So it's a program that closes that gap, that brings leadership to the community, but that is also more practical to our community members. More especially, it's happening. It used to happen every week, but it's also texting, I think. So it's happening fortnightly. So as and when we go there, we also get excited. Some of us are very much married to this program. You know, without a fail, we ensure that we are always there and all that, because it's something that is exciting. You get fulfilled. And all that. And our people are very happy, you know. So, like I'm saying, it's a quite exciting program. When we go as different political parties, and that is why you would not have political party embracing this. Like I'm saying, we are closing the gap. When we go as political parties, Relo campaign, they would not say to us, our government, you are only coming now and all that, because we have always been with our people. We have always been with our people, and they appreciate that. So that they don't only see us, the elections, and then from there we are gone. So it's a very good program, exciting. What we must do on this program is to learn and improve. As in, when there are new things to introduce, we must do that. But it must be something, it's a permanent feature, government.
What would make you happy by the end of the 7th administration to have achieved? So essentially, what kind of legacy would you want to leave?
I spoke to the plans, the commitments that we make every year. The budget, government is just over 50 billion. The budget that we are committing to infrastructure program. Now, if we can spend the government budget on the commitments that we have made, because you see, we stand there in the legislature and pronounce on our plans and say, these are our plans, our annual plans, and this is what we are committing. In terms of the appropriation, the legislature approve the budget that we are presenting. It means it's a commitment we are making to our people. So if we can spend this money and achieve all the targets in a year, in a second financial year, third financial year, fourth and fifth financial year, in your 5-year cycle, if we have planned 100 projects or 200 projects and we have achieved that. Remember I said, if in a municipality we can have an information that says in this municipality, these are the projects that we are going to implement. When I look back and say, yes, we have been able to implement all the projects and we have spent all the money, there's no project that is blocked and all that, I will look back and smile and say, yeah, we did it. We have achieved it. And then I will be very happy. I would know that at least during my tenure, I have contributed, I've made commitments, and I've lived up to the expectation of the people. So that would make me very happy by the time I retire to say, yeah, no, we have achieved.
MEC, so we have also reached out to our viewers, our community out there, to send through their questions, which will be posted to yourself. And the first question that I have here is from Huitsuone Legalamitla from our TikTok page. And they want to know, how does one apply for disability RDP and where?
You know what I will do? Because like I said that there could be, there's a criteria. I can't rightly say this is the process as a person who is disabled, because we don't select beneficiaries as a department. We get beneficiaries from the municipality. So the municipality give us a list of beneficiaries. Now we provide houses for the beneficiaries. So the municipality could be using different categories or criteria. But what would be important, it's important for us to follow up on this question and give a satisfactory answer, is to get the contact the person so that we can advise properly and read so that we can follow up on the matter until we have addressed it.
The next question comes from James Piri, and this came through our X page. And James wants to know, MEC, what is the update on the investigation of Bakwena Baga Mogopa?
We are handling all the cases study investigation. We have a pending meeting with the Premier, I think on Thursday, to receive the reports, the investigations. What I've said to the department is that where investigations have been completed, let's take the report to the community or to the Royal House or to the traditional leadership. So there are a number of investigations that have been commissioned and will be giving the report. Remember, one just came into the office and we are dealing with many issues in the departments. There are lots and lots of dispute. So we need to sit down with the Premier, because they didn't get dispute after dispute. They didn't get investigations, they are incomplete. So we need to sit down with the Premier. We are not the only role player. More dilong tsa bokgosi. I spoke about the House of Traditional Leaders and Khoisan. So we would need to sit down, Lebone, check what has been processed and disseminate or communicate the information in terms of the findings and the recommendation. The reports.
Mm-hmm. All right, our next question, MBC, from Mojalefa Malinde, and this came through on Facebook. They would like to know, why is it that every time when the election intervals approach, the provincial government through COGHSTA visits Potchefstroom, Ward 9, Sonderwater, and promises people houses in a short space of time, and that never happens, especially when elections are over? That poor community of Sonderwater is forgotten, ?
Like I said, we can't make promises. Firstly, we don't make promises, we made commitments. But with regard to issues of housing, I am saying it can't be the provincial government that go and make promises. It's the municipality, in terms of the list of their beneficiaries, who would submit a list of beneficiaries to us for provision of houses to those people. So it's not provincial government. So I don't think the question it's correct to say that we have made promises and all that. But still we'll follow up. If there was any commitment made to Sonderwater, you say Ward 9, We'll check what is happening, if there was any commitment made. The mayor is here. We're in Potchefstroom, I think, with the NCOP. I will follow it up. I will ask Mayor, there is this question that was asked, what is the story, so that we can follow it up. Then we'll respond to Mr. Malindi.
All right, thank you for that, MEC. The last question that we have here is from Mokhumutsi Mere, and this came through our TikTok page. And they are saying, how is the department dealing with people who are given housing construction work by the department and never finished these projects?
It depends. Look, I said some of the people, contractors had to leave site because of the budget cuts. But those who abandon the sites, we definitely blacklist them. If they leave the site out of their own will, with no apparent reason, it means they are failing. It means we can't do business with such people. So there would be no need for us to have any future plans with them. So it's important to just cut ties with such people. And like I'm saying, just blacklist them. But we are very much understanding to those who may have moved out of sight because of the budget cuts. They can't do otherwise. It's a problem that is facing the country. So that would be my answer to the question.
And as we wrap up, MEC, what words of advice would you give to people who would like to pursue the same career as you, people who look up to you? Some words of inspiration?
This is not a career.
It's a calling.
Because you see, would move. There's a commitment. There's a commitment. You must have a commitment to serve the people. If you have a commitment to serve the people, like I said, my commitment was, as an individual by then and many other young people, was to ensure that we liberate the people of South Africa. That's the contribution I was making. I was prepared to make the sacrifices by then. I was prepared to forfeit anything that has to benefit by then. And by then it was dangerous. Whether I was going to be killed, whether I was going to be prison, but that was the price I was prepared to pay. So it stemmed from the conviction to serve. Then from there, that commitment must continue to change the lives of our people. So if you have the love of the people, if you have the passion to change the lives of our people, then you can come. You can come on board. You can make contribution, but you must know it goes with the sacrifices, like me and you have just talked about. Some of the sacrifices, you even sacrifice your own family. So if you are prepared to do those things, then know that you are welcome. That's the advice that I'm giving to people, that it's all about sacrifices. It's like, she says it's a calling. It's like Bobo, nurse, doctor and all that. You know, it's a calling. But if you come here with the understanding that you want to be this or that, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. Because once you don't get a position, then it becomes a problem.
The final question that I have, MEC, for you is, what kind of avenues should people follow in order to engage with you as their public representative?
We have different platforms. There is a Facebook page with my full names and surname. And very soon we'll be opening the WhatsApp channel with all the details. But also my cell phone, it's a public phone. People can call on. I do respond to messages when people call. My number is 0722 619913. So I respond to the messages. I will not only respond when I'm in meetings and all that, but definitely if you leave the message, if you drop the message, I will respond.
whether it's negative or positive, but I will respond.
Thank you so much, MEC, for your time. Thank you for being transparent with us and being very candid. We wish you the best of luck in your journey as you embark on the 7th administration duties. Well, that's how we come to an end of another exciting episode with the Northwest Provincial Government Podcast. My name is Lemogang Pule, and from the rest of the team, it's been a pleasure. Until next time.